Hello everyone, this is part 13 of What If Naruto's Mother Was Tsunade Senju, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Konoha Hokage's mansion. Currently sitting in meeting hall, the Hokage along with all of the Jonin senseis of Konoha were gathered together to discuss the up-and-coming Chunin exam, which was taking place in their village this year. Thank you all for coming so quickly, spoke the Hokage, once all the Jonin senseis had gathered. Now as some of you may or may not know, the Chunin exam are about to take place shortly. Upon hearing this, there was a large amount of muttering in the hall as many of the Jonin senseis were surprised that it was time for the Chunin exam already. Fortunately though, after a minute or two, things settled down again, where the Hokage then continued to speak. So I would like to hear any recommendations from those of you who believe that their team is ready to compete in the exam. For the next few minutes a large number of Jonin sensei stood up and walked towards the Hokage, where they each recommended them their teams. The most notable of these teams that were recommended were the 3 rookie teams from this year's graduating class. Also to be recommended as well was Naruto, where both Kushina and Yamato went up to the Hokage to recommend him, which of course was no great surprise to the old Hokage, as he knew Naruto could handle himself in the exam. Naturally, after hearing that Naruto and the other rookies were entering the exam, many of the Jonin senseis began to talk amongst themselves on how exciting this year's exam was going to be, especially with both the Uchiha and the Senju heirs competing in it. As the Jonin senseis talked amongst themselves, Iruka, who was currently sitting next to the Hokage, decided to voice his concerns about Naruto and the other rookie teams entering the Chunin exam. Excuse me Hokage-sama, but are you sure that it is wise to have 3 rookie genin teams, who only just graduated from the academy less than 6 months ago? Also, if Naruto enters the Chunin exam, then his existence will be exposed to the rest of the world. Although I both appreciate and understand your concerns, Iruka, the members of Teams 7, 8 and 10 are no longer your students, and if their senseis believe that they're ready to compete, then I'm certain they are. As for Naruto being exposed, I'm afraid that it's already too late for that, as word is already spreading throughout the elemental continent of Naruto's existence, spoke the old Hokage. But how? Asked Iruka. There are many different ways that it could have spread, for things like this are rarely kept secret forever. Plus the council has insisted that both Naruto and Sasuke enter this year's exam, and the shinobi elders are backing them up on this. As they know how much publicity our village would receive by having the 2 prodigy heirs of the 2 founding clans of Konoha compete in the Chunin exam, while it's being hosted in our village. Already now I've been told that ticket sales for the Chunin finals are already breaking all previous record sales. Yet we're still receiving many more requests, as daimyos, lords and influential clients from all around the continent are coming just to see Naruto and Sasuke compete, as the reputation of both the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan are well known. So the boys are being used to increase our village's status, stated Iruka with a frown, as he didn't like how the boys were being used. I'm afraid that is how the world works, Iruka, but even still I've faith that both of them are capable of handling themselves in the exam, as well as the other young rookie genin, spoke the old Hokage. At hearing this, Iruka relented, as he knew there would be no point in arguing, as the decision had already been made. As soon Iruka and the Hokage had finished speaking, one of the Jonin senseis decided to ask Sarutobi something. Excuse me Hokage-sama, but who exactly will Naruto-san be working with? As to enter the Chunin exam he will have to be on a team. Yes, I'm aware of that, which is why I've decided that during the exam Naruto will join up with Team 7. Excuse me Hokage-sama, spoke Kurenai suddenly, but are you certain that is the correct decision? As in the Chunin exam a team needs to be able to work well together, and from what I understand out of all the genin teams he works with, Team 7 is the team that Naruto works the least well with. Would it not be better if he were to join up my team, as he works well with my team? Although that's true Kurenai, I think the kid would do better on my team, spoke Asuma suddenly and came up next to her. Even though he gets on well with 2 of your students, he doesn't exactly see eye to eye with your 3rd student Kiba, which is why I think it'd be best that he join with my team, as he gets on well with all of them. After hearing both Kurenai's and his son's suggestions, the elder Sarutobi spoke up. Although there is indeed merit in what you both are saying, I believe that Naruto being on Team 7 would still be the best option. For as you both have said, Naruto gets on the least well with the members of Team 7, but yet during their mission in Nami no Kuni, Wave Country, they were all able to put aside the differences and were able to work well together as a team. Hence why I believe that they can do the same again in this exam, plus this exam gives them the chance to further air out the problems with one another and become a proper team, as the Chunin exam has shown that it can improve a team's teamwork. At hearing this, both Kurenai and Asuma nodded their heads, for although they didn't fully agree with the Sandaime Hokage's decision, they did understand what he was trying to do, as he was trying to improve Naruto's and Team 7's working relationship with each other. Once the matter on which Team Naruto would be working with was settled, the Sandaime called the meeting to an end and all the Jonin senseis left the room, where those that recommended the Genin's teams planned to inform their students. With Naruto. As Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha, the young Senju heir was in deep thought, where he barely acknowledged the many people of Konoha who greeted him as he passed them. The reason he was in such deep thoughts was because he was thinking over the events of his previous mission, involving Kaijika and his mysterious master. The more he thought about the mysterious master of Kaijika, the more frustrated he became, as he knew that there had to be some kind of link between this person and his mother. But he didn't know who, as his mother was a powerful and famed Kunoichi and medic nin, meaning she had a long list of enemies that would come after him to get to her. Yet something kept nagging at him that he should know who this person was, but he couldn't figure out who it was. As he continued to walk down the street, he suddenly heard someone calling out to him. Hey Naruto. When Naruto looked up, he saw that it was Sakura who was calling to him and walking towards him. What's up Sakura? As I kind in a hurry, as Yamato-sensei and Kushina-sensei asked me to meet them, and Yamato-sensei doesn't like it when I keep him waiting, said Naruto. Well I was wondering if you've seen Sasuke-kun, as I met Kakashi-sensei and he told me that he wanted me to find him and tell him that we're to gather at the bridge for a special meeting, replied Sakura. Well I haven't seen him, answered Naruto simply, as he didn't have time for Sakura and her obsession of Sasuke, as he had a lot on his mind right now. Surprised by Naruto's short remark, Sakura was about to ask him what was wrong with him, but before she could, she noticed a small box with 2 eye holes directly behind Naruto. Hey Naruto, you do know that there's some kind of weird box following you? Asked Sakura, unsure on how to think of this. Huh, said a confused Naruto, not knowing what Sakura was talking about, but when he turned around he did indeed find a small cardboard box behind him with 2 small eye holes in it. After seeing it, Naruto figured that since he was so lost in thought about his last mission that he wasn't paying attention to his surroundings. It was also easy enough for him to figure out who was inside the box, as it didn't take a genius to know who was in it. Sighing with annoyance, Naruto decided to end the game. Sigh, you can come out Konohamaru, same goes for you Mogi and you Udon. Upon Naruto saying this, the cardboard box exploded, after which a large puff of smoke appeared, followed by several voices coughing. Konohamaru, cough, cough, you used too much gunpowder again, cough, cough, cried a young female voice. Soon enough the smoke dissipated and it revealed 3 young children, each with a small wooden katana on their backs, similar in shape to Naruto's sword. Once the smoke was all gone the 3 kids introduced themselves. I'm Mogi, the sassiest Kunoichi around, spoke the young girl named Mogi, who did a funny-looking pose. I love algebra, call me Udon, spoke the young glasses-wearing boy named Udon, who also did a funny-looking pose. And I'm the number 1 ninja in the village, Konohamaru, declared Konohamaru, where like his friends he did another funny-looking pose. And when we are all together, we are Team Konohamaru, said the 3 kids together. At this Naruto only sighed again, where he began to wonder if somehow his godfather Jiraiya was secretly meeting these kids and giving them tips on introductions, as what they did was eerily similar to one of Jiraiya's intros. Sigh, yes I known it was all of you, as I just called out your names a moment ago, said Naruto with another sigh. Ha, just what I would expect from my rival in becoming Hokage, cried Konohamaru happily. Hey Naruto, you know these kids? Asked Sakura curiously. Yay, this is Konohamaru, the Sandaime Hokage's grandson and these are his friends Mogi and Udon, answered Naruto, as Konohamaru had introduced Naruto to his friends not long after he and Konohamaru first became friends. Sakura was of course slightly surprised by this, but quickly got over it and then asked Naruto something else she was wondering, so why are they all carrying small wooden swords on their backs, like you do? Well, you see, Konohamaru and his friends kind of look up to me in a way, and they enjoyed watching me when I was training with my katana, so I each gave them a small wooden katana. At hearing this, Sakura just nodded in understanding and had to admit that Naruto was a nice enough guy when he went to all that trouble to make Konohamaru and the kids happy. So Naruto ni-san, are you going to play ninja with us today, just like you said you would? Asked Konohamaru. At this, Naruto thought back to when he last saw Konohamaru and did remember saying he would play with Konohamaru and the others today. Sorry Konohamaru, I can't play today, as I'm a bit busy today, besides I still a bit annoyed at you for all the trouble you caused me last week with Gigi, said Naruto. Flashback last week. Currently in the Hokage's office, Naruto was standing in front of his surrogate grandfather, the Sandaime Hokage, who had called him to talk about something. You wanted for me for something, Gigi? Asked Naruto. Yes I did, Naruto, spoke Sarutobi, as he smoked his pipe, after which he then presses the speaker button on his desk and said, you can bring him in now. Upon which Konohamaru entered the room, flanked by two masked ANBUs. At seeing this, Naruto raised his eyebrow in slight confusion, where he then turned to face the old Hokage. Gigi, why is Konohamaru being escorted by two ANBU, and what does he have to do with you wanting to talking to me? Well Naruto-kun, it's quite simply really, I called you and brought Konohamaru here, because I wanted to discuss to you about a certain little jutsu you taught him, answered the Sandaime with a knowing smirk, which only grew when he saw Naruto's eyes widen in surprise. You told him? Cried Naruto, as he quickly spun around to face the Hokage's grandson. Sorry ni-san, I was just so excited about learning the improved version of the Oiroke no Jutsu, sexy technique, that I kind of let it slip that you taught me it, said and embarrassed Konohamaru. Wait, an improved version? Spoke the elder Saruobi in surprise at hearing this. Upon hearing the Sandaime surprise Naruto suddenly and a sneaky idea to let both him and Konohamaru escape. Yay. Here let me show you, replied Naruto, where he quickly made several shadow clones of himself in the room, and before the Sandaime or the two ANBU could stop him, Naruto did 5 quick hand seals and then cried, Haremu no Jutsu, harem technique. After which there was then a large puff of smoke that filled the room, where once it dissipated, the Sandaime and the others found that the room was now filled with multiple nude blonde-haired women, all in various intimate poses. Several others also had the arms wrapped around the old Hokage and the two male ANBU agents, pressing their well-endowed chest into their bodies. Within moments of all this happening, the legendary Kami no Shinobi, god of shinobis, Sarutobi Hiruzen, was launched up into the air by a geyser of blood from his nose and slammed right into the ceiling of his office, where he then crashed to the floor, with a happy and perverted grin on his face. The Sandaime was of course not the only victim of this jutsu, as the two ANBU that brought Konohamaru in were also launched into the air by their own geysers of blood from noses, although their masks hid their perverted smiles. After deactivating his jutsu, Naruto looked around the unconscious cage and the two ANBU and was quite surprised at how effective his Haremu no Jutsu could be on some people. Originally he had created the Oiroke no Jutsu and the Haremu no Jutsu as pranks to use on Jiraiya and other perverts. He never liked using the jutsu much as he felt like it made him a pervert and only used it to have a little fun, which was why he taught Konohamaru the Oiroke no Jutsu, as a harmless prank on his surrogate grandfather. Upon seeing that the Sandaime and the two ANBU were knocked out, Naruto quickly turned to Konohamaru, where as soon as he did, he saw that the young boy had stars in his eyes. Ni-san, that was so cool. Cried the young boy, can you please teach me that jutsu, can you, please? At seeing the young boy begging on his hands and knees on learning the Haremu no Jutsu, Naruto had a large sweat drop on the back of his head. Maybe later Konohamaru, but right now let's get out of here before they all wake up, spoke Naruto, where he grabbed hold of Konohamaru, and was about to run out of the office. But before he could get to the door, a new voice suddenly spoke up, that is far enough you two. After which another ANBU appeared right in front of Naruto and Konohamaru, standing right between them and the double doors, blocking their escape. This ANBU was also different from the other two, as this one was a woman given the sound of her voice, the shape of her body and her long purple hair that went down to her lower back. When the female ANBU made her appearance, Naruto guessed that she had been hiding up in the rafters of the room and had seen the entire event. Both of you will stay right where you are until the Hokage and those two wake up, spoke the female ANBU wearing a cat-shaped mask, where she indicated the Sandaime and her two comrades. Naruto of course obediently obeyed the female ANBU's order, for although he could not see the woman's face he could tell that the woman was seriously ticked off, as given the number of times he had seen his mother beat up his godfather for his perverted habits. Naruto had formed a sort of sixth sense for such things and could sense when a woman was peeved. This fact was only highlighted further by the fact that the female Anbu had her sword drawn and was gleaming brightly, as if telling them that she was ready to cut both him and Konohamaru up. After a little while, as well as many tissues stuffed into noses, the Sandaime Hokage and the two Anbu woke. Upon which the Sandaime declared that Naruto's Haremu no Jutsu was a forbidden A-rank jutsu. 1. Well Naruto, considering everything, I've no choice but to punish you for not only what happened here, but also for all the trouble that your jutsu caused when you taught it to my grandson, spoke Sarutobi, as he remembered how much trouble Konohamaru caused him when he first used the Oiroke no Jutsu. For after using the Oiroke no Jutsu Konohamaru had taken the Sandaime hat and started to try and give orders out to the Anbu stating that since he had defeated the Sandaime he was now the Hokage. Naturally the Anbu had thought that Konohamaru was only joking, but when he took them to the passed out Sandaime, they were shocked to say the least. That was until they found out how Konohamaru did it, after which the Sandaime had become the laughing stock of his own Anbu, where every now and again the Sandaime could hear the snickering of his Anbu. "Oh come on Gigi, it was just a harmless prank," said Naruto as he didn't see the harm in the jutsu. "Rules are rules Naruto and you have to be punished for your crime," replied Sarutobi, with a slight glint in his eyes as he had the perfect punishment for Naruto. "Fine, so what is it I have to do? D-rank missions, E-rank mission, or do I have to do some kind of punishment exercise?" asked Naruto, not the least bit concerned as he was certain that he could handle whatever the Sandaime could throw at him. Unfortunately though, this confidence quickly fell when he saw a glint in the Sandaime's eye and an evil smirk that would have made a certain Snake Sanin proud. "As punishment for what you've done, I shall be informing your mother of what you've done." When the Konohamaru heard what his grandfather was going to do, he didn't think that was much of a punishment, but his opinion quickly changed after he saw Naruto's expression. For when the Sandaime said that he was going to tell his mother, Naruto almost immediately turned ghost white and started to shake like a leaf. Even the three Anbu spared sympathetic glances at young blonde, as they did not envy the young blonde's position. Why yo UCC can't, why UKK know what Ka-chan would do TT to me?" said the panicking Naruto, as he remembered the last time he was punished by his mother. As he thought back to this, he began to shiver in fear, as horrific images of nightmarish training and punishment exercise, which his mother had put him through, where by the end of them there wasn't a part of his body that wasn't aching in pain or could move. Although all that would be considered child's play compared to the horrors she would unleash, once she found out about his Oiroke no Jutsu and his Haremu no Jutsu. "Oh, I'm aware of what your mother would do Naruto-kun," said Sarutobi with a sadistic grin, as he enjoyed the look of horror that appeared on Naruto's face, as he found it fitting after all extra paperwork and the humiliation his surrogate grandson had caused him. When Naruto saw this, he knew that he had to do something quick or else his near future would be none too bright. As he began to think of different ways he could avoid his punishment, a spark of inspiration suddenly hit Naruto. "Wait, what if I offered you something that would make you reconsider telling Ka-chan about what happened here?" said Naruto, while praying that his idea would work. And what is it that you would be offering?" asked Sarutobi as he raised his eyebrow with mild curiosity. "Well, in exchange for you keeping all this quiet from Ka-chan, I will tell you the secret to beating all your paperwork within a few short hours," said Naruto. Within the blink of an eye of Naruto saying this, the Sandaime suddenly appeared right in front of Naruto on bended knees. It's a deal, now please Naruto tell me how to get rid of this cursed bane, I can't take it anymore, it's going to be the death of me, I swear it," stated the begging Sandaime with anime tears falling from his eyes. At this sight, both Konohamaru and the three Anbu had large sweat drops at the back of their heads at seeing the former Kami no Shinobi like this. At hearing this Naruto smiled, "Okay, the secret is in two little words, which are Kage Bunshin." At hearing this, the sweat drops on the back of Konohamaru and the three Anbu grew even bigger, at how the famed professor had not thought of something so simple and obvious. After hearing this, the Sandaime quickly regained his composure and immediately returned to his desk, after which he then dismissed Naruto and the three Anbu. Although as soon as they left the Hokage's office and closed the large double doors behind them, they all heard the Sandaime yell out, "Why the hell didn't I think of that?" After which it was followed by a series of loud banging noises of something hard hitting a desk and the Sandaime repeating the words "Barker, Barker, Barker" over and over again. Naturally, when those outside heard this, they all had large sweat drops on the back of their heads and decided to leave well enough alone and leave the building. End flashback. As Konohamaru finished remembering, he scratched the back of his head in embarrassment and laughed nervously. He, sorry about that, Ni-san, but still everything worked out in the end. Barely, muttered Naruto, but luckily for you, I don't believe in holding grudges for very long. At this Konohamaru smiled, so will you play ninja with us then? The young boy asked. Like I said Konohamaru, I can't, as I've important stuff to do today, replied Naruto. At hearing this, the young Sarutobi moaned, but as he did he finally took notice of Sakura, who was next to Naruto, where a saucy grin appeared on his face. Oh, I see you're a smooth operator, boss, so she is your important business. If you just told us that from the start, we understand that you want to spend so time with your, said Konohamaru, as he held up his pinky finger, indicating that she was Naruto's girlfriend. What? Cried the pink-haired girl when she heard what Konohamaru said and saw his pinky finger raised up. Luckily though, before Sakura could scream out her denial of such an outlandish idea, Naruto spoke up. I'm afraid you're way off base there, Konohamaru, as Sakura is not my girlfriend, she is just someone I work with now and again, nothing more, as I've no interest in anyone like her, stated Naruto calmly. As the idea of having someone like Sakura as a girlfriend was ridiculous to him, not that Sakura was ugly or anything. It was just that she wasn't the type of girl he was interested in. He liked girls who were not only pretty, but who were kind, friendly, and if they were a kunoiki, that they were serious about the duties and were strong fighters, who spoke their minds and were unafraid to voice their opinions to him. Sakura lacked many of these qualities. Although she wasn't bad looking, she did not take her shinobi duties seriously and was weak compared to other kunoikis like Hinata, or his female friends from Kumo, Yugito, Karui and Samui. She also would flaunt over Sasuke and agree with anything he said like a loyal dog, something that of course greatly irked Naruto. As even Shion and Rurochio, who had no combat training, were better than her in that way, as they at least would not act like this and would be unafraid to voice their own opinions. Even Ino, who was like Sakura in many ways, showed more promise than Sakura right now, as she at least knew some jutsus outside the basics and could work well with her team and fight. The only thing that Naruto saw going for Sakura was her book smarts, her flawless chakra control, and the few small things that Kakashi taught her, which of course would not get her very far in the long run. After hearing what Naruto said, Sakura seemed pleased that Naruto denied that she was his girlfriend, as her heart would only belong to her true love Sasuke. But as she thought this, she suddenly realized what else Naruto said and grew slightly angry at the remark. Wait. What the hell do you mean by having no interest in a girl like me? What the hell is wrong with me? Spoke the annoyed pink-haired girl. Naruto of course would have answered this, but before he could, Konohamaru suddenly spoke up. Yeah, I guess I can see why. You can do way better than her, or at the very least a girl who doesn't have as wide a forehead as her. Upon hearing this, Naruto could not help but sigh, knowing what was going to happen next, especially seeing the dark aura that was now forming around Sakura. This was of course another reason why he didn't go for Sakura, as she reminded him way too much of his mother, or at least in certain areas like temperament, since Sakura had a very short fuse, much like his mother. Whoa boy, Konohamaru, you seriously must have a death wish, thought the young Senju heir. As Naruto saw the dark aura around Sakura grow, he turned to his young friend, who remained oblivious to the danger he was now in. Konohamaru, if I were you right now I would run. What do you mean, boss? Asked Konohamaru. His question was of course quickly answered, when he heard the sound of cracking knuckles, which Naruto remarked was similar in the way he and his mother would do, when they were about to lay a beat down on someone. When Konohamaru turned to Sakura, he saw that the pink-haired girl was glaring daggers at him, while she cracked her knuckles. Knowing that he was in trouble, and deciding to take Naruto's advice, Konohamaru instantly turned around and ran at full speed down the street way. Not letting her prey get away, Sakura quickly sped after Konohamaru with speed that Naruto had to admit was rather impressive. Seeing that Konohamaru was in trouble, Mogi quickly turned to Naruto. Boss, you gotta save Konohamaru, she might actually kill him. At this Naruto only sighed again, Although he knew Sakura wouldn't actually kill the young Sarutobi, he would be fairly bruised up. But even still he really didn't want to go and explain to the Sandaime why he'd let Konohamaru get beaten up, as he was in enough trouble as it is with the Sandaime. Sigh, I really don't have time for all this shit, thought Naruto. Fine, let's go. If we're lucky by the time we get there Konohamaru will only have a few lumps on his head, said Naruto as he, Mogi and Udon went after Sakura and the fleeing Konohamaru. As Konohamaru continued to run from the monster known as Sakura, he quickly made a sharp turn to the left and entered a different streetway. After which he then looked back to see if Sakura was following him, but as he did, he didn't notice the two people that were walking in that streetway, one of whom he crashed into. After crashing into the person, Konohamaru suddenly found himself being pulled up by his scarf. That hurt you little punk, sneered the boy as he held Konohamaru up. Put him down Kankuro or you know you pay for it later, stated the blonde-haired girl to the boy named Kankuro. Hey, I'm sorry, the whole thing was my fault. He only ran into because of me, spoke Sakura, hoping to get Konohamaru out of the situation as she knew this was her fault. Although at the same time she wondered who the boy and girl were. Ignoring Sakura, Kankuro quickly turned to the girl next to him. Hey Temari, we got a few minutes before he arrives, let's mess with these punks. Let go of me you jerk, cried Konohamaru as he began try to kick Kankuro and get him to let him go. Oh, you're feisty, but not for long, said Kankuro with a grin, as he gripped tighter onto Konohamaru's scarf, slowly choking the boy. I suggest you do what he says and let him go, spoke Naruto cold tone as he walked forward with Mogi and Udon behind him. Another punk, stated Kankuro unafraid of Naruto. At the same time the blonde-haired girl named Temari raised her eyebrow with interest, when she saw Naruto. He's not bad looking. I told you to let him go, said Naruto as he narrowed his eyes, as if there was one thing he couldn't stand it was bullies who picked on his friends. TSK, you're annoying, as I don't like any runts or scrawny weaklings like you lot, especially when you start shouting out your mouths, trying to look tough. For whenever they do, I just want to snap them all in two, spoke Kankuro with an evil-like grin. Fine, do what you want, but I'm not getting involved in any of this, as it's all on you, spoke Temari, not caring what her younger brother did. TSK, don't worry sis, this won't take long. First I going to take care of this one, then I take care of the rest of them, said Kankuro, as he raised his fist to hit Konohamaru. Seeing this, Naruto was about to make his move, but before he could, he suddenly saw a small pebble fly through the air out of the corner of his eye and hit Kankuro's wrist. After being hit, Kankuro almost immediately dropped Konohamaru, as he held his wrist in pain from being hit so suddenly and hard. When everyone looked to where the pebble came from, they saw Sasuke sitting up on the thick branch of a nearby tree. You're a long way from home and way out of your league, said Sasuke as he stared at Kankuro, who looked pissed at Sasuke stopping him. Sasuke-kun, cried Sakura with joy at seeing her crush arriving to the rescue. Even Naruto looked slightly pleased at Sasuke's arrival, as thanks to him, Konohamaru, who was now standing behind Naruto, was able to get away from Kankuro. I hate to admit, but nice going there Sasuke, thought the blonde boy, as he glanced at his part-time teammate. Well, another local hottie, it seems Konoha has quite a few cute boys in it, thought Temari as she glanced at Sasuke. TSK, another punk to piss me off, muttered Kankuro as he held his wrist and glared at the young Uchiha. I suggest that you get lost, spoke Sasuke with a cold stare, where he then crushed the small pebble that he was holding in his hand. SSSSUCCC cool, tried both Sakura and Miyogi, with heart-shaped eyes. Ignoring the girls ogling at Sasuke, Naruto stared at the two siblings. For once I agree with the team over there, so get lost. TSK, punks like you two really tick me off. You're all talk and have nothing to back it up with. That's why the shinobi of this village are so weak, said Kankuro with a sneer. Is that so? Spoke Naruto, gaining everyone's attention, because if that's the case, then what does that make you lot, as everyone knows that out of all the 5 great shinobi nations, Suna is the weakest. Although if you ask me, that's giving you lot too much credit, since if the shinobis of Suna have taken up bullying little kids to make themselves feel big, then they aren't worth even being called third-rate shinobis. At hearing this Kankuro became furious, as he was a proud shinobi and wouldn't stand for some smartass punk insulting him or his village. Why you, growled Kankuro, where he decided that he was going to teach Naruto a lesson, where he took off the large bandaged object that he was carrying on his back and slammed it onto the ground. What, you're going to use the crow for this? Cried a worried Temari, when she saw what her younger brother was going to do. Seeing that things were going to escalate and not wanting a fight to start in the street way, where Konohamaru and the other kids would get caught up in, Naruto decided to act. Doing some quick one-handed hand seals, without anyone noticing, as they were too busy staring at Kankuro and the object he took off his back, Naruto quickly prepared to end the battle before it could begin. After finishing the hand seals, his fingerless gloves and his boots began to glow a soft white, telling Naruto that the seals on them were deactivated. These seals, which were on his gloves and his boots, were put on my Jiraiya to help Naruto's training. These seals were for a special jutsu called the Fuinjutsu, Shishiomomizuke Shiru sealing technique, 4 limbs weighting seal which increased the weight of the objects exponentially, weighing down the target's limbs. Normally these seals were placed on prayer beads, which would be wrapped around the user's ankles and wrists, but Jiraiya had improved on this technique, where he could place the seals on article of clothing. Jiraiya had also later on taught Naruto how to do the jutsu, so that he could increase the weight on his gloves and boots once he got used to the weight or when he wanted to deactivate the seals. Once the seals were deactivated, Naruto immediately acted, where he disappeared right in front of everyone's eyes, but before anyone could react to Naruto disappearing. He reappeared right behind Kankuro, kicking the back of his legs and forcing the Tsunade down on his knees and then holding his katana, which he had drawn, in a reverse sword grip against Kankuro's neck. What the? Cried Kankuro in surprise, as he couldn't understand what had just happened, as Naruto had been right in front of him 1 second and the next second Kankuro was on his knees with a katana at his throat. So fast, thought Temari with shock, as she couldn't track him until he appeared behind her brother and forced him to his knees. Even Sasuke, Sakura and the kids were surprised at Naruto's sudden show of speed. Sasuke was especially surprised, since even his keen eyes weren't able to keep up with Naruto's speed. Quickly enough though, Temari recovered from her surprise of Naruto's speed and went for her fan that she carried on her back. But before she could lift her fan off her back, she suddenly found a kunai blade pointed at her jugular. As Naruto had seen what she was going to do out of the corner of his eye and had quickly taken out a kunai. Don't, spoke Naruto coldly, without even looking at her. Way to go Ni-san, you're awesome, cried Konohamaru, as he cheered his older brother figure on, along with both Mogi and Udon. Naruto of course smirked at the younger kid's cheers, but quickly became serious. Now then, if you and your sister know what is best for you, the two of you apologize to my friend there and then get lost and not cause any more trouble. At hearing this, Kankuro gritted his teeth in anger and growled at Little, damn you punk, if I could, I will. But before he could finish speaking, another voice suddenly spoke up out of nowhere. Kankuro, that's enough, you're an embarrassment to our village. Upon hearing this voice, everyone was of course shocked as no one had even sensed another person's presence. It was after hearing this person, everyone immediately started looking around for the person and found him on the same tree that Sasuke was sitting on, standing upside down on a different branch that was on the other side of Sasuke's tree branch behind the tree trunk. The person in question was a red-headed young boy, who looked to be about their age with a tattoo of love on his forehead, above his left eye and carried a large gourd on his back. Both Sasuke and Naruto were especially surprised that neither of them had the boy as they'd both had their shinobi senses on high alert. How did he get there? He never made a sound, without any of us hearing him, only Jonin at Kakashi's level are that smooth, thought Sasuke with a calculating looking. Whoever the hell this guy is, he's dangerous, thought Naruto, as he stared at the new arrival, as his stealth skills are better than mine, I never even sensed him until he spoke, and by just looking at him, I know he gonna be trouble. Seeing the redhead boy, Kankuro quickly became very nervous, knowing that he was in trouble, hey Gaara. Ignoring his elder brother, Gaara looked at Naruto, excuses them you guys, as they're fools, can you please release both of them? At first Naruto was unsure to comply or not, but soon decided to let both Kankuro and Temari go, as he didn't want to escalate the situation any further than it did. Especially at how Gaara appeared out of nowhere without anyone noticing him, since if they did fight him, Konohamaru and kids would certainly get caught in the fight. Nodding in agreement, Naruto removed his katana from Kankuro's throat and placed the blade back in its sheath on his back again, along with removing his foot from the back of Kankuro's leg, so to allow Kankuro to stand back up. At the same time Naruto also removed his kunai from Temari's throat, after which he then shunshed body flicker back to his original position with Konohamaru, Sakura and the others. Seeing this, Gaara's eyes narrowed ever so slightly, before he then turned back to stare at his brother. You know why we've come all this way to Konoha, so why are you causing all this trouble? Asked Gaara with an emotionless tone. Listen Gaara, spoke the nervous Kankuro, who was sweating up a storm, fearing what his younger brother would do. These guys started it and. Shut up, spoke Gaara coldly, I kill you, if you keep giving me your pitiful excuses. Hearing this Kankuro became ever more fearful and gulped, you're right, I was at fault, I'm sorry, I'm really, really sorry. He has unpleasant eyes, thought Sasuke as he stared at Gaara. This guy gives me the creeps, as he has a sort of dark aura around him, thought Naruto, as he was liking Gaara, less and less by the minute. As the two boys stared at Gaara, the redhead stared back at them with a cold calculating look. He hit Kankuro's hand with a pebble so easily and forced him to drop that kid, thought Gaara as he looked at Sasuke, before he turned Naruto, and he took down both Kankuro and Temari in just a few seconds. Both of them are good, thought the young redhead, after which he then used a Suna Shunshin, sand body flicker, from the branch he was on, to his two siblings. Let's go, we didn't come here to fool around, ordered Gaara, when he looked at Temari and Kankuro. I know, spoke Kankuro, with a little relief that Gaara wasn't going to kill him. As the three Suna genin were walking away, Sakura suddenly came forward and spoke up, wait. What is it? Asked Gaara, not even looking back at Sakura. Both Hai no Kuni, Fire Country, and Kei's no Kuni, Wind Country, are allied with each other, but there is a treaty that prevents the ninjas of the two countries from entering either country without permission, so explain why you are here. According to your reasons we will, spoke Temari, as she and her younger brothers turned around to answer, what you're looking for is closer than you think. Huh? Asked a confused Sakura, not understanding what the older blonde meant. You don't know anything, do you? Asked the Temari, where she then took out a small slip of paper with her photo on it and held it up. This is a traffic pass, which allows us to enter your country and village. We're here to participate in the Chunin exam. The Chunin exam, is it that time already? Thought Naruto with some surprise. Now that we've answered your questions, we'll go, spoke Gaara, as he and his siblings started to walk away again, but before they could, Sasuke suddenly jumped down from the tree that he was sitting on. Hey, you there, spoke the young Uchiha, what's your name? Hearing this Temari turned around with a smile, me. No, the one next to you with the good. Naturally Temari was disappointed at this, while turned Gaara simply replied, Sabaku no Gaara, Gaara of the Sand Waterfall, and you? What is your name? Uchiha Sasuke. Gaara of course just nodded at this, before he turned to look at Naruto, who was staring silently at him. I am also interested in learning your name as well. Senju Naruto, replied Naruto calmly. After hearing Naruto's name, the three Suna siblings were naturally surprised. Shit. This is the guy that Sensei warned us about, thought Kankuro as he looked at Naruto. So this is the heir of the Senju clan, figures Kankuro would pick a fight, with the very person that Baki Sensei told us to avoid as much as possible, thought Temari, as she stared at Naruto with interest. I see, said Gaara, I've heard of you, you're the son of Konoha no Namakuji Tsunade Haim, Konoha's slug Princess Tsunade, member of the Densetsu no Sanin, the legendary three ninjas. Naruto of course frowned a little at this, as he was getting pretty tired of everyone always saying he was his mother's son. Not that he was ashamed of his mother or anything, it was just that he wanted to be recognized for himself, not for being the son of the Namakuji Tsunade Haim or the descendant of the Shodaime and Nadaime Hokages. Will you be entering the Chunin exam as well? Asked Gaara with some interest. Maybe, replied Naruto emotionlessly. Hearing this Gaara smirked slightly, good, I look forward to meeting you in the exam, after which he and his siblings jumped away. Things are certainly getting interesting, thought both Sasuke and Naruto at the same time, after Gaara and his brother and sister left. Way to go boss. You were awesome, cried Konohamaru, as he pumped his fist into the air, along with Mogi and Udon. Naruto of course just smiled at this, but his smile quickly turned to worry when he realized the time and knew he was late for his meeting with his senseis. Shit, I'm late, Yamato-sensei is going to kill me, thought Naruto, as he realized how long he had been held up with Konohamaru and the Tsunade team. Listen guys, I gotta go, as I'm late for a meeting with Yamato-sensei and Kushina-sensei, said Naruto hastily, as he was about to shun away, but before he saw a glimmer of light out of the corner of his eye. Acting quickly, Naruto drew his katana out from his back, as he turned around and skillfully deflected the shurikens with his katana, while at the same time, making sure that the shurikens he deflected did not hit Sasuke, Sakura or the kids. After deflecting all the shurikens, Naruto's shinobi senses kicked in, warning him of an incoming attack. Listening to his shinobi senses, Naruto immediately spun around and avoided a sword stab from behind from his attacker. As he spun around, Naruto quickly smacked away the person's hand with the side of his blade, as the person thrusted forward, making the person drop their katana. At the same as he was smacking the katana out of the person's hand, he kicked the person's from behind their legs, causing the person to fall backwards onto the ground hard. Upon which Naruto then immediately placed his foot on the person's throat, keeping the person on the ground and from moving. After dealing with the unknown attacker, Naruto suddenly saw two more flashes of light on either side of him, indicating two more attackers coming at him from both sides. Knowing he didn't have much time, Naruto swiftly took out a kunai and raised it, blocking the first attacker's katana with it, while at the same time blocking the second attacker's katana with his own katana. All of this of course happened in the space of only a few seconds, where to the observers, one moment Naruto walking away from them and the next, he was being attacked by shuriken and unknown assailants. Naturally, after seeing this, Sasuke immediately took out an kunai and was about to intervene, but before he could, the second assailant, a young blonde-haired girl with a long pony-like tail that reached down her lower back, spoke. It seems that you have gotten stronger since we last met, Naruto. When Naruto heard this and got a better look at the second assailant, he instantly recognized the person. Yugito! Cried the surprised Senju heir, where the female blonde just nodded in affirmation, where she pulled her katana away from Naruto's and placed it back on her back. Yugito had grown up quite a bit, although she was still the same in many other ways. She was now taller than she was before, where she was about half a head taller than Naruto. Naruto also couldn't help but notice that not only had she grown taller but also developed a more curvaceous build than she had before. Yugito wore a tight black and white shirt and standard black shinobi-style pants, and her kunai holster was tied to her right thigh. Yugito also wore purple fingerless gloves with bandages wound tight around her arms and had long string of seemingly plain red beads wound around her left arm, along with a red sash tied around her waist, and carried her long katana on her back. 2. Seeing that one of his attackers was Yugito, Naruto turned to his first attacker, who turned out to be Sumui, who, like Yugito, pulled her katana back and placed it back in her sheath and nodded to Naruto in acknowledgement, when he turned to her and spoke her name. Sumui had also grown up quite a bit from when Naruto last saw her, where like Yugito she had developed a more curvaceous build, not to mention her bust had gone from an A cup to a C cup. She wore a very low-cut outfit with mesh underneath, a short skirt and red hand guards, high boots and a short of girdle that helped highlight her cleavage, which worked given the small out of blood that leaked from Konohamaru and Udon noses. She also had her tanto strapped horizontally to her lower back, like before. Once the girls pulled away their swords, Naruto then looked at his original attack, who was struggling to get Naruto of her throat. When Naruto looked down, he saw that his original attacker was none other than Karui. Upon seeing this, Naruto quickly lifted his foot off the girl's throat and allowed her up, where she proceeded to glare angrily at Naruto. Karui hadn't changed much, although had grown taller, but hadn't developed as curvaceous as Yugito or Sumui had. She wore a long short-sleeved dress as her ninja attire, complete with purple stockings, boots with white soles, and wore her forehead protector like a bandana. Like most of her team, she also carried her long sword on her back. Okay guys, what the hell was that just now? Why did you just attack me just now? Asked Naruto. It was a test. Yugito wanted to see if you had gotten any stronger since we last met, and given how well you handled yourself there, it seems you have, spoke another person, who appeared in front of Naruto. Omoi, said Naruto with a smile, when he saw his friend. Good to see you, Naruto, spoke Omoi with his one smile, as he sucked on his lollipop. Omoi hadn't changed much at all with the exception of growing a bit taller. He wore a dark outfit consisting of an overlong shirt with a hood, with red bandage handguards and shin guards, and carried a long sword on his back. As this was going on, Sasuke, Sakura and the kids all got confused looks on their faces, as none of this was making any sense to them. As one minute the four unknown shinobis were attacking Naruto and the next he was acting like he was meeting old friends. Naruto, who the hell are these people? Asked Sasuke, as he still held his kunai in his hand, unsure what to think of them. Seeing that Sasuke had a kunai out and fearing that things would get out of hand like they did with Gaara and his team, Naruto quickly responded. Easy Sasuke, these guys aren't a threat, they are from Kumo and they are old friends of mine, who I met during my travels with my Car-chan. Friends would be a stretch given how you lied to us, Naruto-san, spoke Sumui coolly as she stared at Naruto rather harshly, causing that young Senju to cringe a little knowing he was in trouble with friends. So I guess you guys know Abu. About you being the son of Tsunade of the Sannin and being the heir to the Senju clan, spoke Yugito with a look that clearly told Naruto that he wasn't on her list of favorite people right now. Yay, I guess you kind found about that, he, said Naruto as he laughed nervously at Yugito and the others stared at him. Kind of hard not to, as did you really think that we wouldn't find out for ourselves? Said Yugito. At this Naruto just sighed, as he knew that it was naive of him to think that he could inform his friends himself as to who he really was. He never wanted to lie to them, but he had no choice, as he had to think about his family, for if he told his friends, he knew that as loyal shinobi they would be obligated to inform their leader, who would then hunt him and his family down. Tired of not knowing what was fully going on, Sasuke decided to speak up. Senju, why don't you introduce us to you friends here and why they're here? Oh right. Sorry, this is Yugito, Omoi, Sumui and Karui and like I said they're from Kumo, said Naruto as he introduced each of his friends. Guys, this Uchiha Sasuke and Haruna Sakura and the kids with them are academy students, who I'm friends with, they're Sarutobi Konohamaru and his friends Mogi and Udon. Are these your teammates Naruto? Asked Omoi, after Naruto introduced Sasuke and the others to them. Sort of, I work with them from time to, but I'm not on an official team, as I am under an apprenticeship with another Jonin sensei, replied Naruto, where Omoi just nodded as that confirmed what the Reikage had told them. So this is the Uchiha clan heir, thought Yugito as she studied one of her assigned targets. He's even better looking in person than in his photo, thought Karui with a slight blush. After Naruto and introduced his friends from Kumo to him, Sasuke gave them each a calculating look, as trying to measure them up. Karen and Omoi did not seem all that dangerous of threatening to him, but knew that they were still skilled shinobis, given how they walked around and how they attacked Naruto. 3. But the people that caught Sasuke attention the most were Sumui and Yugito. Sumui stood out to Sasuke was because of the calm, cool, emotionless look she kept on her face, while she stared back at him. The way she looked at him of course reminded him of the same kind of look that his brother Itachi would sometimes look at him. Yugito on the other hand stood out to him, due to the similar sort of feeling he had when he was around Gaara, where unlike the Tsunade, Yugito did not have a crazed dark look around her that Gaara had, but had the same kind of powerful look in her, but more control than Gaara. When Sakura saw Sasuke staring at Yugito and Sumui, she immediately took it up the wrong way, believing that he was attracted to the two blonde girls. Oh no, Sasuke-kun is eyeing those girls, is he interested in them? Does he prefer blondes or does he prefer girls with big chest? Thought the worried pink-haired girl, where the sinking feeling of being inadequate began to sink in. When she compared her chest size to Sumui and Yugito, who although was not as big as the other blonde, was still more developed than Sakura was. I say we kick their butts and show them who's boss. Cried inner Sakura, where normally in such situations like this, Sakura would agree with her inner personality. But fortunately for her, her more logical side told her that there was a better way to stop the girls from stealing Sasuke from her. Deciding to gain the Kumo-nin's attention and away from her, Sasuke-kun, Sakura spoke up and asked him a question, so are you guys here for the Chunin exam as well? Yes we're, replied Yugito, as she turned to the pink-haired girl, before she then turned to Naruto. I assume that you'll be entering the exam as well Naruto. Maybe, answered Naruto, as he was unsure if his sensei would recommend him for the exam, although he did believe that he was more than ready for it. So where is Killer B? I'd like to see him again, asked Naruto, as despite B being a bit weird, Naruto still liked the man, as he was the one who first taught him how to fight with a sword. Sensei is at your admission office to official sign us in the Chunin exam, answered Yugito, where Naruto just nodded in understanding and was about to ask him another question, but before he could we suddenly spoke. Although I'm sure you have many questions for us, Naruto-san, we also have some questions for you as well, spoke the blonde-haired girl rather coolly, with a serious look that told Naruto that she wanted answers. Naruto also saw this look in Yugito and the others as well and knew that he had a lot to explain to his friends and they did deserve to know the truth. But even still, this wasn't the place where he wanted to tell them, especially in front of Sasuke and the others. Fine, Naruto said, but not here, I explain everything back at my apartment. Hearing this, Yugito and the others just nodded, where Naruto quickly bid Konohamaru and the others goodbye, and then jumped away with Yugito and her team. Leaving Sasuke, Konohamaru and all the others in the streetway, before any of them could stop them or ask them where they were going. In a nearby tree, sitting on a large tree that overlooked the streetway where Naruto and the others were, 3 shinobis with the symbol of the Otogaku hidden sound watched the events between Gaara and the Konoha nins, as well as the events that proceeded after it. Once Naruto left with Yugito and her team, the 3 Oto genin watched Sasuke and Sakura head off together to meet with their sensei, while Konohamaru and his gang went off in their own directions. When everyone had left, one of the 2 male members of the team spoke to the other male member. So that's the son of Konoha no Namakuji Tsunade Haim and the Uchiha clan heir. What do you think of them, the Dosu? The blonde-haired boy has some skill, I'd admit that, and the black-haired kid isn't too bad either. But we also must keep an eye on the redhead with the gourd as well, spoke the bandage-wearing boy named Dosu, after which he and his team then left. On a rooftop. Hidden atop a rooftop of a nearby building, Sai waited patiently for his ink bird to return to him, which had been perched in a tree nearby and had been listening into the 2 incidents involving his teammates and Naruto. Once the bird returned to him, it merged with a blank scroll, after which a written account of the 2 separate incidents involving the Kumo genin and the Tsunade genin appeared, where it mentioned everything that happened and what was spoken. When Sai read over the account, his left eyebrow rose with interest when he read the account between Naruto and the Kumo genin. Interesting, Danzo-sama will want to know this, thought the young root agent, where he planned to inform Danzo of this, after he met with Kakashi and his team, since he didn't want to raise suspicion with his team by missing their meeting at the bridge. After which he used his Sumigasumi no Jutsu ink mist technique to disappear from the rooftop. Naruto's apartment. After about 10 minutes of traveling across the rooftops of the buildings of Konoha, Naruto, Yugito and her team arrived at Naruto apartment. Naruto apartment was spacious enough, but not too big either. He had a small kitchen, which was the first thing people would see when entering the apartment. There was a large living room that had a large couch that was big enough to let 3 people sit together along with the regular armchairs. To the left there was 3 doors, 2 of them lead to small bedrooms, one of which was Naruto's and another was a spare. The third and final door lead to a small bathroom, with a shower, sink and toilet. All in the entire apartment was simply, yet it had everything Naruto could really need and the rent was cheap enough. Nice place you have here, Naruto, spoke Omoy as he and the others entered the apartment and looked around it. Thanks, replied Naruto, where he led the Kumo genin into the living room, where Samui, Omoy and Karui all sat on the large couch, while Yugito sat on the armchair and Naruto sat on the other remaining one. I guess that I should explain myself now, said Naruto once he and the other sat down. Yes you should, stated Yugito simply. Look guys, it's not like I wanted to lie to you, it just that I had no choice but to, since if I told you who I really was then I would have put my family in danger, said Naruto, where he then heard a scoff coming from Karui. What? Don't believe me, Karui? Asked Naruto, not being surprised that Karui didn't believe him, as she had never trusted him. No I don't, replied the girl. Well, it's the truth. Please. You actually want us to believe that you had no choice but to lie to us? Yes, because it is the truth, answered the young blonde boy. Karui of course would have remarked on this, but before she could, Omoy interrupted her. Hold on Karui, I think Naruto is telling the truth. Oh please, that's what you said last time, and look how that ended, retorted the annoyed Karui. Well this time I'm certain, replied Omoy, which gained everyone's attention. Think about it, no one knew that Naruto was Tsunade-sama's son, let alone he even existed until recently. No one had ever seen or heard anything about Tsunade of the Sannin in 12 years, meaning that she was in hiding with Naruto, when she was raising him. Since given how he would be the heir of the Senju clan and her son, a lot of people would be interested in him and go after him. At hearing this Naruto smiled, as he was glad that Omoi understood, as he really didn't want to lose his friendships with Yugito and the others. Although that is true, he still could have trusted us enough to keep his secret, since we never reported him to the Raikage, spoke Sumui. Upon hearing this, Naruto was of course surprised, as turned to Yugito, is that true? Yes, replied Yugito, along with a nod. Killer Bee-sensei believed it best to keep our first meeting with you a secret from the Raikage. As he believed that if the Raikage heard that there was a young boy capable of defeating me when I used the Nibi power, and who possessed 4 nature affinities naturally, then the Raikage would send out shinobis to track you down and either capture you or kill you, so to prevent you becoming a threat to our village. At hearing this, Naruto was of course surprised, as he didn't think that Yugito and the others would actually lie to their leader to protect him from their village. Hearing this of course made the young Senju heir feel even worse for lying to his friends, as he never thought they'd go so far for him. Guys, look, I do feel bad for lying to you and I am grateful for sticking you necks out like you did, but I couldn't take the chance that you would inform the Raikage about me. As I didn't want to put you in the situation where you would have to choose being loyal to your village or your friendship with me. Since if you guys knew who I really was at the time, would you've really kept my true identity from the Raikage? At this, neither Yugito nor the others had any answer, since they all knew what Naruto said was true, as if they knew who Naruto really was at the time. They would be obligated, as loyal shinobis of their village, to inform their leader of Naruto's existence. But even after hearing this, Karui was of course not as understanding as her teammates were, as she still held a slight chip on her shoulder when involving Naruto, where when Naruto finished explaining, she of course scoffed. When Naruto heard Karui scoff, he of course frowned as he knew that Karui probably still held some kind of grudge against him, as she never fully trusted him, like the others did. Is there a problem, Karui? Asked Naruto. Yea, there is, as I still don't believe you. You may have gotten the others here to believe your sob story here, but I still don't trust you, nor do I believe your little story, as after all you a dog of Konoha, replied the girl a little spitefully. At hearing this, Naruto of course frowned and stood up in anger, as even though he was an easy enough going person, there was still several things he would not stand for. One of these things being, that he would not stand for anyone insulting his village, since to Naruto, if someone insulted his village, then they were insulting his clan along with his father the Yondaime and disgracing the sacrifices they made to protect Konoha. He also would not stand for anyone calling him a dog. Look, Karui, I get that you never really liked or trusted me all that much, but I suggest that you get over your petty little grudge over me beating you, as I won't stand for you or anyone else insulting my village, said Naruto angrily. At hearing this, Karui also became angry, where she then stood up and glared at Naruto. The fact that I never trusted you proves that I was right all along, as you did lie to us, as you were with another village just like I said, retorted the dark-skinned girl, as she didn't want to admit to the others that still held a slight grudge against Naruto over him humiliating her, both at the time of their first meeting and what happened earlier on when they met Naruto again in the street. If you expect me to be sorry for lying to you and the others, Karui, then I'm afraid to disappoint you, because I'm not, as I did what I had to protect my family. Since you all know just as well as I do, that if I had told you the truth, then you obligated to tell the Raikage and he would have then hunted both my family and me down. Also for you information, I was not with Konoha when I met you guys, as I only joined Konoha and started living here 6 months ago, as I was traveling with my mother for most of my life. Who doesn't even know about us either, as I haven't told anyone about meeting you guys either, responded Naruto. After Naruto said this, an intense staring match began between him and Karui, where the two genin glare angrily at one another. Seeing how things were starting to heat up between Karui and Naruto, Omoi immediately became concerned. Oh man, this is getting out of hand. What if a fight breaks out between Naruto and Karui? What if me and the others get caught up in the fight? What if I have to fight Naruto? I don't want to fight a friend. Okay guys, I think you both should step back and calm down, as there's no need for things to go overboard, especially you Karui, as we're not here to start a fight, spoke Omoi as he stood between his teammate and his friend. Stay out of this, Omoi, this is between me and him, spoke Karui as she continued to glare angrily at Naruto, where she clicked her katana open, ready to draw it out and fight. Seeing this, Naruto frowned and prepared to draw his own katana. I suggest that you think carefully about what you're about to do, Karui, and not do something stupid, because if you do I won't hold back like last time. Before Karui could respond to this comment or before Yugito and the others could stop Karui from attacking Naruto, a new voice, which was clearly female, suddenly spoke up. I suggest that you do what he says, girly. Upon hearing this new voice, the 5 genin suddenly saw 2 blurs coming through the open window on their right-hand side. After which 2 new figures appeared right next to Naruto. These 2 new figures were none other than Naruto 2 senseis Yamato and Kushina. Naturally, upon seeing the 2 Jonin senseis, the 4 Kumo genin became concerned, especially upon seeing that Kushina, who was well known for not only being a powerful and skilled kunoichi, but was also well known for her strong dislike of their village. Baradi Shinku no Akari, Bloody Crimson Fury, thought Simui with some worry, as he recognized Kushina from the picture she had seen of her in Kumo's bingo book. Shit, thought Karui, as she knew she was in trouble. Crap, nice going Karui, thought Omoi, man, what are we going to do? Should we try to make a break for it or should we give up? And if we do, are they going to take us away and interrogate us and make us talk, or will they kick us out of the village and stop us from entering the Chunin exam? This is not good, thought Yugito, where she silently cursed her luck, as they didn't need to cause a situation right before the Chunin exam, where they could be denied entry into the exam for starting trouble in the village. Kushina sensei, Yamato sensei, what are you doing here? Asked Naruto, when he saw his 2 senseis. We came here looking for you, as you were supposed to meet us at the training ground half an hour ago, answered Kushina, making Naruto silently curse. Since he'd completely forgotten about his meeting with his senseis, after his meeting with Gaara, Yugito and the others. Indeed, and I'm sure that you can also imagine our surprise when we saw you here with a group of Kumo genin, where you were about to get into a fight with one of them, Yamato stated as he stared at the Kumo genin. Care to tell us what is happening, Naruto? Asked Kushina, with a look that told Naruto that he better come clean or else. Crap, moaned Naruto inside his mind, as he knew he was in trouble but had no other choice but to tell the truth. For the next half hour Naruto explained how he knew Yugito and the others, where when he finished both Kushina and Yamato had slight frowns on their faces. Naruto, you know you should not have hidden this from us, berated Yamato, where he then stared at the 4 Kumo genin. I sorry sensei, but if I had told any of you, you would have told Gigi and he would have told Ka-chan, where she would have blown the whole thing out of proportion. Since I never told any of them who I really was and they only recently found out for themselves, said Naruto. Is this true? Asked Yamato as he stared at Yugito and the others, where they all nodded. Well, if this is indeed true, and if you are all such good friends, then why is it that you look ready to attack Naruto? Spoke Kushina with a serious tone and look, as she stared at Karui, since she had been the one that Kushina and Yamato saw ready to attack Naruto. Before Karui could reply to Kushina's question, Yugito quickly stepped forward. I apologize for my teammate's response to Naruto-san. When we met Naruto-san, we only wanted to talk to him and have him explain his reasons for lying to us when we first met him. Unfortunately though, things got out of hand, as Karui had some unresolved issues when it concerns Naruto-san. And do the rest of you've any these unresolved issues concerning Naruto? Asked Kushina. No, we have no issues with Naruto-san, replied Yugito truthfully, where both Simui and Omoi nodded in support, since after hearing Naruto's side of the story, they understood why Naruto lied to them. Good, now if you don't mind, we would like to talk to our student in private, said Kushina with an emotionless tone, as she still did not trust the Kumo genin. Knowing that it was time to go, Yugito signaled her team to leave, where they all got up and began to walk out of the apartment, but before they could leave, they suddenly heard Naruto call out to them just as they were opening the door. Guys, wait. What is it, Naruto-san? Asked Simui coolly without a hit of emotion. Look, I know that lying to you guys about who I really was is not the best way to start a friendship, but I was hoping we could still be friends. At this Karui scoffed, but before she could make a comment, Yugito spoke up, perhaps, after the exam has ended, but until then we're your enemies, so I suggest that when we face each other again, you not hold back, as we'll not. At this Naruto nodded in understanding and smiled a little. Well, I look forward to when we face each other, spoke Naruto, where Yugito just nodded and opened the door and walked out with her team. See you around, Naruto, said Omoi, before he followed his team out and closed the door behind him. Once Yugito and the others left the apartment, Naruto turned around to face his sensei, who were less than pleased. Not that they were angry that Naruto was friends with people outside their village, the reason they were displeased with him was that he kept this from them and risked his safety when he was in hiding with his mother. After discussing the matter with him for a few minutes, they told him that they would have to inform the Hokage of this, since he needed to know. Naruto of course understood this and sighed, as he knew that when his mother returned to Konoha, she would blow a gasket after hearing how he met with foreign shinobis and didn't tell her. After the matter was settled, Naruto decided to ask his senseis why exactly they wanted him. So why exactly did you want to talk to me? The reason we called you is because we wanted to give you this, spoke Yamato as he handed Naruto an application for entering the Chunin exam. When Naruto saw this, he smiled with excitement at having a chance at becoming Chunin as well as the opportunity of finally proving himself to everyone that he was more than just the son of Tsunade the Slug Princess. But as he was getting excited over entering the Chunin exam, a realization suddenly hit him. But wait, sensei, how can I enter the Chunin exam? I need to be on a team, don't I? Yes you do, but you'll be placed on a team and work with them, replied Kushina. Which team will that be? Well, given how well you and Team 7 handled yourselves during the mission in Nami no Kuni, you'll be working with them during the exam. Upon hearing this, Naruto groaned a little, as he'd hoped he would work with someone else this time, like Team 8 or Team 10, as at least he got on better with the members of those teams. Soon enough Naruto got over his annoyance and signed the application, which Yamato took and then told Naruto that in 3 days' time, he would meet the rest of Team 7 at the academy, where the first part of the exam would be held. Nodding in understanding, Naruto then asked his senseis if he could do some extra training with them before the exam. As after meeting Gaara and seeing Yugito again, who he was certain was much stronger than she was when he last met her, he knew that he needed to be as strong as possible if he wanted to win in the exam. Naturally both Kushina and Yamato agreed, where the three of them headed off to Training Ground 4. The next day in a nearby training ground. Currently standing in Training Ground 12, two young genins were training hard in preparations for the Chunin exam which their sensei had entered them into this year. One of them was a tall young boy with dark bowl-shaped hair and very distinctive bushy eyebrows and wore green jumpsuit, orange leg warmers, and wore his red forehead protector as a belt. The other genin was another young boy, who was clearly from the Hyuga clan. Given his eyes, this boy was also fairly tall with long, dark brown hair that reached the middle of his back, which was tied back a few inches above the end. While two straps attached to a smaller headband underneath his ninja forehead protector frame the sides of his face. He wore a khaki shirt and dark brown shorts and had bandages wrapped around his right arm, chest, and right leg. Both boys were training hard in their own individual taijutsu styles, knowing that they need to be at top form to pass the exam. As they were training they soon heard a female voice crying out the names to gain their attention. Hey Neji, Lee. When the boy turned around to where the voice was coming from, they saw their other teammate running towards them, with an excited look on her face. The person in question was a tall young girl with brown hair that was tied up in Chinese-style buns. The girl wore a pink sleeveless blouse and dark green pants and wore her headband around her forehead, underneath her fringe. Yosh Tenten. The flames of youth are truly burning brightly in you today. What has made you so excited today? Asked the young boy named Lee. For once I agree with Lee. What is the matter, Tenten? Asked Neji, as he too was generally curious about what had gotten his teammate so excited. Panting slightly from running so much, the young girl named Tenten spoke. Fant, I just overheard some of the Jonin talking in the Dango bar, where they said that several rookie genin teams are entering the Chunin exam this year. After hearing this, Neji raised his left eyebrow at the news. Although that is interesting news, I still do not see why it has gotten you so excited. Well, there is more to it. You know that young Uchiha kid named Sasuke that people talk about sometimes? Asked the young girl, which got a nod from her teammates. Well, his team is entering the exam this yet, but that's not the best news of all. I also overheard the two Jonin say that Tsunade-sama's son, Senju Naruto, is also entering the exam. Spoke Tenten, who was giddy with excitement at the possible chance of meeting and talking with the son of her idol. Yosh. The same Senju Naruto, who Guy-sensei says defeated his enteral Hitaki Kakashi during his team test, which no one has ever passed before, cried Lee. Do not be a fool, Lee, that is just a rumor, there is no possible way for a genin to defeat a veteran shinobi, scoffed Neji, as he had heard the same rumors as well and refused to believe them. I gotta agree with Neji as well, Lee. I think Guy-sensei was just overstating things when he said that, as there's no way a genin fresh out of the academy can defeat a fully trained jonin, even if he is Tsunade-sama's son, spoke Tenten. But still I don't think we should underestimate him either, as the rumors do say that he was trained by Tsunade-sama herself. At this Neji nodded, as that was indeed very likely, since it made sense for Tsunade to train her own son. Yosh. Then that only means that I'll have to train twice as hard to defeat such strong opponents as Uchiha Sasuke and Senju Naruto, cried Lee, where he ran off to train even more. Upon seeing the antics of their other teammate, both Tenten and Neji sighed in embarrassment, where Neji muttered, "Fool," and Tenten just shook her head. But even still both genin knew their teammate had the right idea, as they still needed to train more for the exam. As Tenten walked over to the target posts, the bun-haired girl thoughts were full on a certain blonde-haired boy and began to think up ways in how she could introduce herself to said boy, where at some later point she could ask him to introduce her to his mother. Neji on the other hand just focused his full attention on improving his Juken, gentle fist-fighting style, as he believed this was all according to fate's plan for him and that it was his destiny to enter and succeed in the Chunin exam. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.